Yo, what up? It's Aaron Moses, and this video is about transmuting stress, the transmutation of stress. Now, a lot of people, even I made this statement, a lot of people believe that there's no use for stress. It shortens your lifespan, it messes with your DNA, it releases cortisol, it raises cortisol, things like that. The thing about it is, if you can separate your eye, your two eyes, if you can separate those voices, if you can master the breath, if you can jump out of your body, not much, not astral projection. If you can separate your soul from your body, if you can understand the difference between your flesh speaking and your soul speaking, you will be able to utilize this energy. What needs to happen is you need to identify first where this stress is coming from. Where this stress is coming from. If it's your bills, if it's your relationships, if it's your children, I want you to understand that this stress could be used as a powerful spark in an amazing fire. What I want you to do is, how I use it usually is for monetary purposes, okay? I understand that this is coming from multiple places, but it's mostly coming from a lower, usually comes from a lower, okay? Or the heart. What I want you to do is, I want you to keep it where it is, and I want you to talk to your subconscious mind. At the same time, you have to be familiar with the voice of the subconscious mind. You have to be able to separate the voice of the universe, the voice of the subconscious mind, spirit guides, and your flesh. Because there's a lot of answers in the flesh. There's a lot of answers from entities that wish nothing more than to do you harm. What I want you to do is, I want you to practice speaking to your subconscious mind. That's what I want you to do. I want you to understand how it works, what you need to be doing. The subconscious mind, I'm going to use a cliche, is a computer with an infinite amount of memory because of how it's connected to the universe, the superconscious mind, the Akashic records, the collective conscious, okay? But what I want you to do is, I want you to cut all that out just for a sec. I want you to speak to your here and now. Think about, I want you to replicate, I want you to meditate and meditate on the feelings that you get when you can't remember a song, or the title of a song, or the title of a movie, or a person's name, or where you left something, or what you were about to do. And when you remembered that person's name, you could see their face, and then you remembered it. That calm, that blankness that you felt, and then you heard the person's name, or you heard the name of the movie, or you saw the letters, however your subconscious mind works, because it probably works a little bit different than mine. I want you to feel that peace, and I want you to move that stress up. And I want you to say, whatever your objective is, it works beautifully for creativity. I want you to say, I have to fill in the blank, and then give it a time. I have to think of this. I have to do this. I have to find a way. I have to do this. And for me, speaking the time frame doesn't work as well as me feeling it and releasing it. The most important thing about it is releasing it, doing something that's going to relax you, just like magic. Doing something that's going to relax you, that is not going to return you to a state of stress. And that is going to keep your mind off of it. But it's really important that you get rid of all those feelings. Make sure that that fire, that inspirational feeling is there. But a lot of the times when people do this, they still feel the same emotions in their arms, and their legs, and their gut, and their back, and their chest, and their head. Breathe it all out. Breathe it out. Okay? Reverse ground. Okay, ground yourself to the universe. Breathe it out of your crown chakra. That stimulates creativity, especially if it's something that makes you feel hot. Okay? Never let stress make you depressed. That's the number one rule. That's the mantra of 2020. Never let stress make you depressed. It's supposed to motivate you. And the thing about it is, yes, stress can shorten your life, but the results of you knowing how to transmute it will give you that same length that you lost and more. So it is useful. Now, all the people that I see walking around with stress all in their face, smoking cigarettes and having stress sex, and like, come on, bro. That's because you don't know, because you think you're supposed to just put it away and deal with it. No, it's useful. All this energy is useful. Now, if you want to use the heart, if you want to breathe it into the heart and watch some comedy and add to it and breathe the blue energy from the universe into your crown chakra to your kidneys, and then add hydration to your, and then breathe it up, and then transmute the sexual energy and breathe. You could do that too. I don't do all that though. I don't do all that. I affirm it. I program it. I program it and direct it. That's the first couple steps of magic. Raising the energy. You already got the energy. Just raise it in its position in your body. And if you don't want to throw it straight into your head, I get it. But at least speak to it. Speak to it. Don't pray to it. Like a lot of people tell me, it didn't work because you prayed to it. That's why it didn't work. Don't pray to it. Don't ask it. Speak to it as if you are its parent, because you are its parent. It's energy. You were here before the stress was. It is your parent. You created it. You accepted it. Okay? You gave birth to it. So what you need to do is program it. Program it. Program it. You don't have to add any anger to it. You don't have to add any happiness to it. You don't have to, you can leave it how it is. Just move it. Just move it to the mind. Move it to the mind. Program it. You don't have to move it directly to the mind if you don't want to. Some people get scared when I say that. So they think it's just going to explode, and it's not going to do that. It's not going to do that. You have enough positive energy already flowing through you. It's not going to do that. Unless you're like suicidal, then I definitely wouldn't suggest you do that. But move it. Then what you have to do when you're done with all the stress relief, I want you to actually sit down and meditate. Meditate on void, nothing, blackness. Sit in a dark room. No candles, no phone, no nothing. Even if you have to lose like 30 minutes of sleep, nothing. You know that 30 minutes always turns into an hour and a half. So I'm going to just say it like that. 30 minutes of sleep. Sit there, meditate. It works for me best late at night, anywhere from 12 to like 3, or the next day in the morning when it's still dark. And just meditate, meditate, meditate on nothing. Don't meditate on the problem. Don't meditate on the problem. Don't meditate on the solution. Meditate on the feeling of stillness, that water, that sauce, that ether. Feel nothing. Feel no emotions. No emotions. You already felt your intentions are already set. You programmed it. You put a shield around it. You put it in a little box. You spoke what you require from its existence already. It's covered, it's done. You put it in your brain, you put it in the computer that has all the answers. Don't read about it. I mean, it depends on what it is. If it's something that could possibly, it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. But for me, how I discovered this was when I lost my job. I had two jobs. I lost both of them within a week. The first job, they were going to give me a raise, and they ran my background because they don't run your background in the beginning. I'm not going to say the company I worked for. I didn't lie on my application. They just don't run your background until they're going to give you a raise. So he came to me. He was like, yeah, we're going to have to let you go. You didn't pass the background test. And I was like, bro, I've been working here for like 3 months. You didn't run my background. Why would you let me start? And he was like, well, we were gonna give you the raise and blah blah blah, and it's just company protocol. And I was thinking, the only thing I had to do to get this raise was show up every day on time. So if I would have been late one day, then I would have still had my job. That's fool. But okay. Then the next day, boom. No, not the next day. I go to my other job, Papa John's, and the day I was supposed to start, I walked in. She was, "What you doing here?" I was like, "I'm supposed to start today." And she was like, "You supposed to start today? You was supposed to start 3 days ago." I was like, "What? That's not what my schedule says." And she was like, "Well, do you got the schedule?" And I was like, "No, it was only for one day. This was the first day. It was I was only supposed to work this one day, and then come back 2 days later. I was no, so I didn't take a picture of that or write it down. No, I don't have that. But no, the late she printed out my schedule, and then I looked at it, and she was like, "You don't want it?" And I was like, "No." So she threw it away, and I guess I was too new in the system. They changed the schedule, and they didn't contact me to tell me that they changed the schedule. So I lost that job. So I used this technique. I don't know where I got it from. So I just went with the flow. I just knew I needed this money. I knew I was gonna be homeless and die without keeping my cool. And I just felt the energy move through me. And then one day I figured out how to get the money, and I made about that's the most money I made at that point. And this is in like 2014 or 13 when I started writing my essays. I got that from meditation, and I made like $500. That I made $700 that week. I made $500 the next week. I made $500 the week after that, and maybe six of those clients I still work with today, and that was like 6 years ago. Okay, and then this one time I was supposed to do a show, and I couldn't think of any songs. I couldn't think of any hooks, and I went through that same motion. I went through the same motion, and it was like 12. I remember exactly. I exactly remember it. I was standing on the back porch smoking a cigarette, and I had been stressing earlier, and then I just started talking, and I was like, damn, that was a hook. And I just kept talking. I was like, damn, that was a hook. And I just wrote it all down, and I wrote that whole song and another one, and I recorded it at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Both of those songs. I stayed up, writing, finding the beat for it, rehearsing it, writing, recording. I think it was like 6 o'clock, not even 5 or 6, 5:30, something like that. But I know I woke up Liz. You're still recording. I was like, nope, I just got in the booth. I'm on fire. And I was freestyling and stuff. But that is one piece of information. There's multiple ways that you can transmute stress. That's just how I like to do it, man. Other than that, I don't really. As far as stress, I understand that stress is very low vibrational. I understand that there are a lot of other feelings that are what people call weak emotions or detrimental emotions. that I can feel besides stress. I'd rather be depressed than stressed. I'd rather be angry or sad than stressed, because stress is a little bit more tricky to work with. I'd rather have anxiety than stress, because at least I don't even have anxiety anymore. I can eat other people's anxieties. And if you want an anxiety eating consultation or an anxiety eating session, some people call it Reiki. I call it anxiety eating. I can take the anxiety out of your mind, body, and soul for 18 hours or 24 hours, depending on what you do with your day. And you will feel a lot different, a lot different, a lot different. Now, I don't really have a price on those. I have to talk to you, do a little bit of analysis to see the extreme amount or low amount of anxiety that you have, the level of anxiety that you have through a series of questions. Or you could just talk and I can sense it, and then we could just go with that and I'll eat it. Eat it up. So that's it, guys. This is Aaron Moses. Life is in the breath. Life is in the whole of breath, baby. Breathe it in.